Right, hello guys, welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be making my predictions for game week number 20 of the 2025-26 EFL Championship season. Can't believe we're already 20 game weeks in, but let's see how I did on game week 19. I got one outcome and score on bob on. I got Preston to draw 1-1 with Wrexham, spot on. And I got 3 outcomes correct, so that's 6 points, taking my season total up to 132. And this is how the table looks after 19 matches. And without further ado, let's predict this midweek's matches. And we start at Deepdale with Preston against Coventry. And this is a game that Coventry tend to not get results from, actually. Preston are very much Coventry's bogey team. But this is a Coventry side. They did lose 3-0 to Ipswich over the weekend, but this is a Coventry side that tend to like to score goals and win matches this season. They're top of the league by 7 points now. Preston are in the playoffs right now. I think they're 5th place. It's tricky because I could very easily give Preston a result here, but against Frank Lampard's Coventry, who need to go back to winning ways, I'm backing the Sky Blues 3-1. I think it's going to be quite a convincing win for Cov here, for them to finally get that win at Deepdale over Preston. I mean, they, if there's ever a season they're going to do it, it's this one, so 3-1 Cov. Next up, we've got a big relegation 6-pointer. It's Swansea against Portsmouth. And Swansea did get that win over the line. I think it was 2-1 over Oxford. I predicted the other way round. As for Portsmouth, their game against against Charlton. Their game against Charlton was called off, and they're not on the best of form coming into that match. But Portsmouth can get results on their day. If I had to pick a winner, I would pick the Swans, being the home side, with it being at the Swansea.com stadium, but I'm going to sit on the fence with a 1-1 draw. I think Portsmouth need a result if they're going to be in a, if they're going to survive. They need to start picking up results. I do fancy them more at home for results this season, but I'm sitting on the fence with a 1-1 draw on this one. Next up, we've got another big relegation 6-pointer. It's Blackburn against Oxford United. And Blackburn, for the second time this season, their game was called off over the weekend, courtesy of a waterlogged pitch. There might be some uncertainty over whether this match will go ahead tonight. It's a bit rainy, but Oxford, I did back to beat Swansea, and they did lose. That's not great form for them, and Blackburn aren't on the best of form either, but with it being at Ewood, I do think they will win if the game finishes. I'm going for Blackburn to win 2-0. I think Blackburn will keep a clean sheet against an Oxford side who have been a bit tricky to predict this season, but 2-0 Blackburn Rovers. Next up, we've got Southampton against West Brom. And this is a tricky one. West Brom are around mid-table right now. Well, it's not really tricky. They're around mid-table, but they've been on decent form. Well, a couple wins maybe in the last 5 weeks or so, but I think their manager is still under threat. And as for Southampton, well, we've been flying under a new manager, Tonda Eckert. Of course, was the interim manager. He's now taking the job full-time. And at St Mary's against a struggling West Brom side who have scored goals recently, but they haven't been, that convincing going forward. I'm backing Southampton for the win and clean sheet here. A bit like last time we played them at St Mary's 2 seasons ago in the Championship. I'm going Southampton to win 2-0. I think we've got the quality, and we could just as easily score 3 3 past them, maybe 4, but I'm going 2-0. I'm being conservative here. 2-0 to the Saints, and let's march on towards the playoffs. Next up, we've got Charlton against Middlesbrough. And before we predict anything, I just want to say, once again, send my condolences off, this time to the Charlton fan Norman Barker, who died shortly after a medical emergency on the game. That's why the Charlton game was called off. Charlton, because of that, I do send my condolences to the family of Norman Barker there. And then we have to talk about the match. Well, Charlton do have a game in hand now. But against a Portsmouth side who, let's face it, Charlton may well have beaten. But as for Middlesbrough, the thing is, I would like to predict Charlton to win here, but Borough are flying right now. They're second in the table. They need a win to keep up that charge. And I think Charlton will score, but Borough get it over the line. 2-1. I don't think it'll be very convincing this time, but ultimately I do think Borough might just take the 3 points here. 2-1 Borough. Next up, we've got Sheffield United against Norwich City, which a few weeks ago would have been a relegation 6-pointer. But not anymore. Sheffield United are flying. I think they're currently second, maybe third top scorers in the division. They've scored, 3-4 goals consistently against the Norwich side, who are really struggling, 23rd in the league, only above Sheffield Wednesday, and things are looking pretty bad for them. Josh Sargent got back to scoring at the weekend, but things do look pretty bad for them right now. I think I back Sheffield United. They are firing under Chris Wilder right now. I'm going to back the Blades for a 4-1 win. I think it's going to be quite convincing, quite comfortable over the Canaries here. So ultimately, 4-1 to the Blades and push up even further towards their ultimate goal of the playoffs. Next up, we've got Watford against Sheffield Wednesday. And Sheffield Wednesday, they're not looking great at the minute. I think they the one that were playing Blackburn over the weekend. Yeah, they were. They were the ones playing Blackburn. They were 1-0 down at the time the match was suspended. As for Watford, though, Watford are a side that they're in great form at the minute. They're currently 13th. They're currently mid-table in the league, but they are pushing for playoffs with the very tight points gap we've got between all the sides here. I'm going to back the Hornets for a 3-1 win. I think Sheffield Wednesday might snatch a goal from somewhere, but Watford ultimately get the 3 points. 3-1 to the Hornets. Next up, we've got QPR against Birmingham City. And this is another tricky one. QPR on one of their good streaks at the minute, winning and drawing games. Against the Birmingham side, who don't travel well, they haven't been very great on the road this season at the minute. But they were in fairly good form a few weeks back. And this is tricky because QPR can get a result, but I don't know whether I can trust them in the league at the minute this season. I obviously can't trust Birmingham on the road either, but I think the Blues might just snatch it from somewhere. They've got the quality to. I'm going to back Birmingham to win 2-1. I think it could be a draw. It could easily be a QPR win. I could see it going all 3 ways, but I'm backing Birmingham for a huge, crucial, last-minute 3 points to push towards the playoffs even further. So 2-1 to the Blues. Next up, we've got Ipswich Town against Stoke City. And this is interesting. Ipswich with that very incredible 3-0 victory against Coventry last week. Only the second side to beat them this season, behind Wrexham. As for Stoke, they've kind of fallen off the boil a bit. in the recent weeks. I think Mark Robbins may well be good enough to get them maybe 6th in the playoffs, but their form hasn't been great. And against an Ipswich side, who very much are the second top scorers in the division maybe, I do think Kieran McKenna's boys may well be firing now. And I think going into January they might sign some good players, and the other players may well have gelled. And I think they'll start getting the results of line more consistently and get into the top 2 push. I'm going for Ipswich to win 3-1. I think they'll continue that great form of scoring goals and get the 3 points against Stoke tomorrow. So I'm going at 3-1 to the Tractor Boys here, and to push up maybe towards the top 2 if Middlesbrough don't get a result tonight. Next up, we've got Derby County against Millwall in another tricky one, because Millwall are 3rd in the table, they are flying. Derby are 15th, but I do prefer Derby at home to get something this season. I think Derby certainly have the potential to. Millwall like grinding out 1-0 results, 1-0 victories this season. I think I'm going to sit on the fence here with a 1-1 draw. This could come back to bite me. I think if I had to pick a winner, I would edge Millwall, being the slightly better form team. But I do think it could end 1-1. So I'm going for a point apiece. Next up, we've got Bristol City against Leicester City. And, Leicester have been on good form recently, but they do still have that threat of a potential points deduction hanging over them. Bristol City, on the other hand, haven't been on the best of form, but they are at home. I wouldn't rule out Gerhard Struber and his men to get a result here. If it was at the King Power, I'd probably, looking at Bristol City's form, may well be back in Leicester for the win. But with Bristol City being the home side, I'm going to sit on the fence with a 2-2 draw here. I think there'll be goals for sure. Both sides are fairly goal happy, have been this season. So I'm going to sit on the fence with a 2-2 draw on this one. Point apiece, which isn't the end of the world for either side really in the playoff push, if they can get a result in the Gameweek 21 this weekend. But 2-2 is where I'm going. And then finally, we've got Hull City against Wrexham. And this is a tricky one. It's tricky because Wrexham tend to be quite low-scoring, cagey. Hull, on the other hand, have been scoring goals for fun this season. Maybe the 4th top scorers in the division. It's tricky because Hull haven't been on the best of form. Wrexham have been on a fairly good run lately. Do I go for a draw? If I had to pick a winner, I might pick Wrexham going on the form book. But I'm going to sit on the fence with another 2-2 draw. I think both sides, they're currently like mid-table playing for the playoffs, so I think a point wouldn't be a bad result for either side, really. So another Desmond, 2-2 on this one too. And there you have it, guys, all 12 championship matches for today and tomorrow predicted. Make sure to let me know your predictions in the comments down below. And I'll see you all in the next one.